Cool. All right. We are recording. I'm gonna hit the intro. Welcome to Mindful Minutes with Musicians, the show where we aspire to inspire musicians and artists talking about mindfulness and what brings us through our practice to achieve greater goals. All right.
Aha.
Today, my guest is Adedon.
Adedon. That's right. That's right.
A very bright-spirited, amazing rapper, super stylish and creative genius. Been inspiring.
Oh wow! Thank you. Thank you.
2000s. I met him years ago and have seen him bloom along his path. Hold on. Thank you for next tune. Come on. Boom. I've seen him bloom along his path, doing a handful of album and projects like Vinyl Tales, Strictly for the 90s mixtape, Self-Preservation with Careless, and the latest that are coming out on June 20th, Workers Digest and Jazzified.
That's right.
2 albums coming out at once. Huge. You can find him on Spotify as a verified artist. You can find him on SoundCloud and on YouTube. I will link all of that at the bottom in the show notes. From Toronto, Canada, let's welcome Adedon. Yeah.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Way too kind. Way too kind. Appreciate it.
No worries, man. I've known you for a while, and I always have appreciated your what you've been bringing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, not just the music. Like, 'cause I love you.
Right.
And I've always been like, oh damn. You know what I mean? I see another one on Instagram or see something. You know what I mean? But,
right.
Yeah, I appreciate the what you bring, like just yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you have a lot of huge great attributes that you bring.
Well, I'm gonna say like-minded people link up. You know what I'm saying? So what you bring out is what you receive. So it's all that going on.
That's true. That's true. It's true. If you're a positive person, you're gonna receive positive things.
Yeah.
At least we all hope, right?
Yeah, definitely. So that's you, man. From bouncing around, meeting you, just talking. It's great conversations. You know what it is, and that just evolve into, whatever it does. It's just being putting good energy out into the world, and not expecting anything in return, but just just being you. And with the days, as things evolve and things start taking steps, connections are made, and hence we're here right now sitting down talking what we're going to be talking, mindfulness and all that good stuff.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. I love that because like I kind of feel the same. Like it's those days when you're like in a crazy horrible mood. Sometimes you're like, all right, I gotta breathe through this. I gotta relax, because if I'm just gonna blow out, that's what I'm gonna receive that back. You know what I mean? And I'm it's on the same note that if you're
what's crazy, in terms of talking about when you're going through certain things, and the environment that you find yourself in, or the mind state rather, I met this gentleman yesterday, and I was telling him the same thing. It's like sometimes you can't be caught up in that moment too much. Sometimes I told him something as simple as me just getting outside of the house and taking a walk. If there's a certain energy or a certain thing that I want in my life, I put it out there. For instance, by being inside, you're not going to meet anyone. You're locked off in your own zone. But if you go out to do something that you love, whether it's a walk in nature, a bike ride, you're looking at the animals or whatever, first of all, you're going to do something that you love, and secondly, you don't control what's going to happen around you. Me and him started conversing because he was taking pictures of a bird, and then eventually a chickmunk came over and started running towards him, and then in that moment as I'm observing. I don't know, maybe because he was using a long lens, he couldn't like actually capture the chipmunk from that far, but he put the camera to the side and got caught up in the moment. And I was so intrigued by that, because it's like at that point, it's like the picture is not as important as actually being present and enjoying the moment. So, you know, and that sparked
like,
a great conversation in life.
Yeah, the memory might like be sparked by a picture, but that memory of like, you know what I mean, putting that camera, I'm sure he's gonna remember that moment way longer than any photo would last.
Definitely.
So
definitely, you know.
Yeah, no.
So yeah, man, we gotta make the memories and the energy and try to control the energies that we want around us. You know, try not to be caught up in some, you know, all the things we can be caught up in, our mental state, our anxieties, different things that bother us. You know, sometimes we gotta find ways to get away from that.
It's so easy to get caught up in it. I'm definitely one for that, like where you just get in your head and you start like, oh man, did I do this, did I that, you know what I mean, and you start like you get down that wormhole of like, oh, this and that, you know what I mean. And I these are the moments where I'm talking about, where I'm like, okay, I'm like, without realizing what's going on, you're not gonna be able to like, okay, I'm gonna stop, I'm gonna take a breath, I'm gonna like,
reset.
Exactly. So I'm bad for that, for sure. Sometimes I gotta like really be like, okay, hold on, take a step, take a breath, you know what I mean. And that breath is huge. It's an important thing. So
and on a funny note on that, if you look at a couple clips I got coming out, I got this thing that I do called studio conversation. Probably we'll get into that eventually, but in the studio, right besides the speakers and the control board, there's like a little bar that just says breathe. You know, and it's so vital. I look at it all the time like, yeah, you're right, you know, sometimes you just got to take a step back, just stop and just and it does wonders. So just tie that point as you said that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And you have a bunch of projects coming up and going on and everything, and Vinyl Tales is one of them. What like inspired you?
Vinyl Tales, you know, everything for me for the most part, you know, comes from a real place. It comes from something that I enjoy. So what originally was started was I was trying to find different ways to get people interacting with me a little bit more, trying to have more of an online presence. And in the meanwhile, like while I was trying to build up a fan base, or I'm trying to build a fan base, I was just thinking like what kind of creative things I can do to really spark, you know, engagement and get people interested in what it is that I do. And, you know, my thing is not fabricated. It's like day to day, everything that I'm doing, you know what I'm saying? So
it's like,
how can I give people, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's like showing your inspiration
in
a creative way. You know that's
so I wanted to give people insight into that. So, one of the things that at the time, you know, what came to mind was Currency. This rapper from New Orleans, you know what I'm saying? He had this thing called Raps and Lowriders, which is, I just enjoyed it so much. And it's like, you know, essentially it's about things that I love, because I love like old school cars and you know, classic cars and all that other stuff. So he was combining rap and that, you know, and I was glued. I'm always glued to the computer, like, you know what I'm saying? He got the oldies playing in the background and a lot of things that I'm about, right?
Yeah.
So at the time, I'm always listening vinyls. I know a lot of the songs and whatever. So I think part of the inspiration came from there, you know, deep in the back of my mind somewhere. So I don't know. Usually I'm good with coming up with like slogans and names that just ring well and sound well. I'm like, Vinyl Tales. I like that, Vinyl Tales. And then, you know, I started developing the idea more in my mind and what I wanted it to be and what I want it to be and where I'm going to go with it. So, you know, that's kind of the background on that, you know, and I just wanted to give people.
It's a great title and a great idea. Like I love.
Well, thank you.
Because I just think like going back and putting vinyl on is a nostalgic kind of thing, as well as, like, you know what I mean. There's the feeling of nostalgia and the feeling of like memories, and it's also
Yeah.
it's also like when you're putting a record on, you're like you know, maybe you're cleaning the house or something like that, but you're in a more relaxed state, you know what I mean, when you're putting, you know, a record on. So yeah, it's I like it.
Yeah, I mean, talking about mindfulness, that's what it captures for me. You know,
Yep.
when I put on a vinyl, I am present, because basically in my spot, where I'm at, I can't really play music loud like that. You know, I like being very respectful of everyone, you know, in the vicinity and whatever.
Sure.
So there's other, you know, tenants and stuff like that, so I don't like playing my music too loud, whatever.
Yeah.
So as far as like hearing the music the way I want to hear it in other rooms, it's virtually, you know, impossible. So what I do is when I put on a record, it's like I'm present. It's like I'm sitting on the couch, like the music is facing me, you know. Usually I light a candle because it really, you know, I don't know. The moment I sit down, I want to listen that kind of stuff. I just light a candle. It puts me in a very zen state and just relax and just, you know, I'm there. I'm present for however long that record is going.
Yeah. It seems like you're playing off of more sense, like you're playing off of your sense of hearing, your sense of smell, like you're playing off these senses.
Yeah, definitely. It's a whole, you know, I'm just zoned out, you know. Usually, like, if I can do things to bring out a certain environment, like a fireplace, a sunset, take my mind somewhere else, you know. It's a way to really clear my mind and just get myself like centered, you know, and listening.
Reset.
Yeah, and listening to that type of music, certain types of music that I play on vinyl, like, you know, it really gets away from, you know, certain things that's happening right now. It takes me in a different place, you know, it triggers different things in the mind for me.
Okay.
I can
I got
travel.
a couple questions.
Yeah.
What steps did you take mentally when you were creating these projects that are coming up? Like, what kind of things? Because, like, obviously time has been crazy recently, and you know what I mean. I find it kind of hard to like get into the creative process and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How do you find you've been able to get yourself into the creative process for these projects?
I mean, for me, the creative process is constant. It's not something that, you know, I just decide all of a sudden I'm gonna get into create something. I live life, you know, and every day I'm going through something, you know. Every day I have different experience, you know. Like, for instance, the conversation that I had with the gentleman yesterday, you know, we spoke on life in such a way that, you know, he spoke on some things that one day might show itself in a song, you know. So basically I don't it's not a mindset that I try to get into. It's just however life influence and inspires me, I go off that. So, you know, my music is based on for real, like, live experienced, you know what I mean? So that's what it is. And it's never like I'm always creating, I'm always writing, I'm always doing some form of creative expression. So with these two projects that I'm releasing, it's not something that I just decided you know, Workers Digest has been something I've been working on. And along the way, Jazzify started shaping as well. So I was just able to, you know, separate what I wanted Workers Digest to be, and then Jazzify that just started building like an energy and a vibe for it, you know. Moving off that, but it's all based on, you know, the place where I'm currently at, whether it's my work situation and my dreams and aspirations and where I want to be and where I aspire to be and the steps that I need to take to get there and the challenges therein on my way to getting where I want to get to, you know what I mean? Like, and that's what it follows.
The daily hurdles, I suppose.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. It's that.
Yo, David, where's your drink, man? You know,
Right here.
this ginger beer is amazing, by the way.
Cheers. Hey.
I wish you guys could share that. Cheers.
Cheers to all. Cheers to all watching. I have another question I was gonna ask you. when you look through your Instagram and stuff, you have amazing style with
Oh,
the
really?
ties and the bow ties.
Respect, respect,
You know what I
respect.
mean? I'm way into that. I'm way into that. Like I love the old style hats and the bow ties and like
It's the
suspenders.
Zingster.
That's
It's
like
the
style.
Zingster. It's the
Style,
Zingster.
right?
Yeah,
What
yeah, the
influences
Zingster.
what influences you for that? Like when like as far as like how does that like yeah, I guess what's the question
I
I'm
mean,
asking? Like
for me, style is innate. You know what I mean? That's just in me. Like, you know, I've just always been a Zingster. And for you guys who don't know what a Zingster is, someone who have a lot of zest and, you know, originality to what it is that he do. So the Zingster is always on cloud nine. And I don't know, man. I just have a good, thankfully, good taste in music. You know, my taste in music is vast. You know, that goes as well as clothing and just
cool.
presentation and looks. You know what I mean? Like aesthetic, like things appeal
Yeah.
me. But
Yeah.
as far as like I remember like back in the early 90s, like, you know what I mean, it was Daniel Jones, you know what I mean, and I remember his style for sure, like, you know,
Feel
where
it
I want
goes
to be in
yeah,
certain
it goes hand
things,
in
you
hand,
know,
right?
like that
Like
90s, you know, that 90s, you know, they were doing certain things, they had a certain twang about it, you know what I mean, so
mhm.
that would just what I feel on the inside and how I feel like expressing myself.
Yeah.
But
I
thank you for noticing the style, man. The
no
Zingster is out here.
worries, man. That's I'm like totally in on that, man. I love that shit. Yeah. So yeah, I just think it's I definitely think it goes hand in hand. Like you know what I mean with the classic music and the classic
Yeah,
and
man.
the
You know, I'm a
history.
modern day gentleman, man. You know,
Yeah.
it's all about class, style, and doing things with great taste. You know, it has to be. You know, it's all of that for me. You know, great art, great music, great conversation, great people, great food, great all of that, man. That's life. I'm trying to live, man. I'm trying to live the best life I can, and it
Right.
all goes hand in hand. You
That's
know.
I'm gonna cheers to that.
Yeah, man. Definitely.
That's what. Yeah. That's what we're all here for, I suppose, right? It's trying to make the best of it. What leading out, what kind of practices do you find are best for you? I think you mentioned like these getting into these records and putting a candle on and stuff like that. What kind of like what kind of methods or practices do you have to get yourself into a calm, chill state or whatever? If you know.
To me, it's never one thing. You know, it's always about a balance across the board. So basically, like, I try to, you know, not indulge in certain things too much. Like, for instance, like having great friends around, it's essential. You know,
Yeah.
great people you can actually call up and talk, and it's you know, relationships based on trust, where you can really dive into, like, you know, the deeper issues, not just the social butterfly type stuff. You know what I mean? Like
Oh
the
yeah,
very, like,
for sure.
you know, the hot. I don't do well with like meaningless conversations. Like,
The
you know,
how's the weather, right?
yeah, yeah. I'm not that type. You know what I mean? So
It's windy today.
you know what I'm saying? The sun was covered by the rain.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense, you know, it doesn't make any sense to me. You know what I mean? So,
It's funny.
I mean, it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense to me. You know what I'm saying?
It's like
But yeah,
sure you can start with that, but then lead into like
you know, yeah,
you
like,
know,
let's branch off into something that's meaningful. Like,
it's funny.
let's touch something. You know, like, when I live here, I want to live with something. You know, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's about having that balance. So, good friends, you know, and good conversation. It's like usually when those things happen, it's like your mind is always taken care of because you spend time meditating. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I do that a lot. You know, I spend time to myself. I spend time getting in tune with me, finding out, you know, things that I hate, things that I need to improve on, things that bother me, things that I'm insecure about. I spend a lot of time thinking about those things. So, and dealing with them and finding ways to overcome certain things. So it's never a situation where it's like I'm looking for one thing or I'm going to one thing. It's like a balance across the board, making sure like I'm grounded and I'm well taken care of. And usually when I have that balance, like everything else just falls into place, whether it's I'm going through and I find something like heartbreak, or, you know, I'm falling in love, or, you know, I'm trying to connect with certain individuals on a certain level to provide, and we're hitting hardships, and we're bashing heads, or different things, and all of that just finds its way into music. And for me, again, I'm a creative person, so a lot of times I may not even get like satisfaction from just doing music. I'm in that moment, what I'm looking for, maybe I wouldn't get it in music. I might get it from creating something, like building a furniture piece, or what I mean. There's different ways that I feed my inner being, and self-awareness and peace, peace of mind and all of that.
For sure. And I feel like just sometimes the ability to write or get things off your chest is kind of a catalyst for that. Like I'm gonna write a tune or something, because I'm going through this, that, and the other. Then it ends up being this is my feelings, and I'm just writing them out, and kind of that that's a process on its own.
You know what's funny about that whole situation is, like, lately I haven't been writing songs. Like, it's crazy. Like, I used to be so fast paced when it came to writing songs. Like, I would like get a concept and I'll write 3 verses and a chorus, boom, like that. You know what I mean? And at that time, like, what got me out of that habit was basically, for me, what brought like fulfillment and excitement and happiness and just feeling achieved was not just writing a song. Because at that point I was writing, like, there was like, I don't know, 1,300 songs, like 400 songs in a book, whatever. And it doesn't get past that, because at the time when that came like second nature to me, I didn't have the production behind to get it to the finished state. So I started getting very frustrated with that. And now,
too much of one and not enough of the other.
Yeah. And now it's like, I don't write anymore like that, and I wish I could just like get a concept in my head and just like write and be in that state, because it's a great state to be, because the way stuff just flow out of you, it doesn't take any effort. Now it's kind of like, it's not as effortless as it was then, as far as writing songs. But now, just to even get certain things off that I've been feeling like recently, I find with songs, sometimes you have to structure it in a certain way. There's a certain restriction that you face within songs, whether it's especially with hip hop, in terms of like how things are supposed to be said and what people are expecting and whatever. So right now, like, even to get some of the stuff that I'm really feeling, I'm not even writing songs. I'm writing poems. You know what I mean? Because I can be as free as possible. I can be prose. I can be whatever I want to be. Without feeling like I have to. Yeah.
That's kind of what I was saying. Is that even if it's not a song, just writing, like, I find is an amazing release. And I think
writing poems for me is that for me for right now, for sure.
That's awesome.
Colorful pens. Colorful pens.
Yeah.
I got rid of those, by the way, though, but it's alright. It was getting too chaotic on my Instagram. We have colorful pen, a couple different ideas going on. I just had to cut down on a couple things, so I got rid of the colorful pen. But that's what I was going through at that point, just trying to flush some things out. Definitely, it might. Right? It might. It's real life living.
That's it. Things come, things go, things are inspired, things are, all this. So all right, I'm gonna hit the outro music, and we're gonna close this up. I appreciate so much you being here and taking the time to just chat with me and go through all this. And
no doubt, man. Thank you for having me.
I'm sure everyone listening is gonna be like, writing notes and all that, and it's I think it's my whole thing is that we are aspiring to inspire. So we're just trying to inspire, and I appreciate you being here. And
because before you go to, like, I want you to expand on that a little bit, because I want to know, man, what got you to lay out this foundation where you want to talk about mindfulness and all of this within just the music culture. Like, what's the inspiration for that?
For me, having within the music culture is because I'm a musician, and that's the community that I know I have access to. And those are the people that I know more deeply, and I'm able to, get into conversations and stuff. But it's even though it's called musicians or mindful minutes with musicians, it's I'm gonna try and have artists on here. I'm gonna try and like maybe filmmakers, or you know what I mean, like I think because it goes beyond music, but I think it's more of like sharing, as a musician, sharing mindfulness and sharing the idea that no matter where you are or what you're doing or whatever, stopping to take a breath and just be more mindful of what you're experiencing and what you're going through, and that kind of stuff really helps in life.
Yeah, okay, so learning about mindfulness could just help in life, period. Yeah, and that's the goal. Okay.
Like for everybody.
Okay.
But like musicians have a lot of different aspects as far as that goes. Like whether it's like performing live in front of an audience, or whether it's behind the scenes creating a song, or the process of writing, you know what I mean? Getting those emotions out on paper. There's a whole lot of aspects to it, and I think that even if you're not a musician, you're still able to use these aspects, you know what I mean, to start a journal, or to write poetry, you know what I mean. If you're not a musician, you know, and poetry doesn't even have to rhyme. It can just be whatever comes from the heart kind of thing. And I feel like that, just being able to get that out is a beautiful thing. So
yeah, well, I got to tell you one thing. I've been very present in this whole conversation. A lot of times, people are here, but they're not here, if you know what I mean. So
for sure,
it's been a blessing being locked in for however long we've been locked in. I've been present, and I can definitely talk about this situation for whenever it happens, because I'm here.
For sure, I'm guilty of that myself. Like when you're like, oh, okay, I got this going on, I got that going on. There's a bird out the window, and
too many distractions.
And I'm feeling that, man. Like being even just being present, with a conversation is a great thing. It's nice.
Yeah. Cheers, bro.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers. To mindfulness.
And I'm gonna say thank you again for hooking up these tunes. Y'all are gonna be able to hear this on June 20th. Right now, we're hearing it before June 20th. So, yeah.
It's a blessing. It's a blessing.
Special.
I hope you guys feel full from like just listening to songs. I hope they touch you. I hope they inspire you.
I think they
do. Let me know what you think. Let me know.
I think they do. And you can find Adedon at Spotify, on SoundCloud, on everything. We're gonna try and link up everything. I'm gonna have some show notes on the bottom. But yeah, let's roll out on this one.
Appreciate you, Mr. Blackmore.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you for tuning in to Mindful Minutes with Musicians. For more information about my guest and the topics of the show, go to www.davidblackmoremusic.wordpress.com and connect with us on all social media platforms. Welcome to the MMWM family, where we aspire to inspire. See you soon. You hear that? We're here to inspire. We're aspiring to inspire.
Inspire.
That's the whole plan, is to aspire to inspire. That's how we hope people enjoy this. We hope people make the most of this. And yeah.
been down,
Love
I've
it.
been on it.
All right,
Wanted to
let's,
get, I'm still on it. Brothers test me, they know I'm about it. Trying to stress me, I'm so above it. I know better, stay humble, make more cheddar. I slice that cheese with ease, dog. I'm talking bread, need more butter. I'm for the shit and talk gold toilet when I'm letting off. Knock a vision, I top the scale. I'm talking Pablo, fit my vision. Lord knows I must get it. Friends cross me, they no regret. It's a bitch nigga, Happy I see right through niggas. Tryna get up, tryna get up, tryna get up. I'm tryna get up, tryna get up, tryna get up. Been down, I've been on it. Grind mode, that's grind mode. Money to get, I'm still on it. Seen a little, I want more. Tryna get up, tryna get up, tryna get up. I'm tryna get up, tryna get up, tryna get up. Been down, I've been on it. Grind mode, that's grind mode. Yeah. Money to get, I'm still on it. Seen a little, I want more. I've been down, I've been out it. Just coasting, feeling lost. For my dreams, I paid the cost. Only pennies being tossed. I've been grounded but feeling lost. With every step, I'm drifting off course. Without money, I have no voice. Who gives a shit that I'm staying on course? Of course, the challenge is of a gift, brother. For the stars to shine, the clouds must shift, brother. Better days, remember this, brother. Your struggle greatly, the tides must shift, brother. Sacrifice it all for my dreams, brother. The days my stomach touch bait for this beat, brother. Just to spit my pain, feel this heat, brother. I stand on my feet, can't see defeat, brother. Close my eyes, I see shit clear.